Chapter 4161. Honey, I didn't want to be like this. You forced me to be like this. Seeing Qin Chu doubting her, Huamin immediately gave in. Stop it. I'm tired. A lot of things happened today. Huh? What's wrong, honey? As Huamin spoke, she walked over and tried to put her arms around Qin Chu's neck, acting like a spoiled child. However, Qin Chu dodged her attack, and she missed. Before Huamin could get angry, Qin Chu said, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to worry. What's the matter? The more Qin Chu said, the more Huamin wanted to know. Uncle Jing is missing. What? This time, Huamian was indeed shocked. Bella is injured. I don't know who attacked her. She's still in a coma in the hospital. But Uncle Jing is missing. He's completely missing. I've called the police and they're still investigating. How can that be? It was obvious that she was both shocked and concerned about Jingda's disappearance. She even forgot to care about Bella's coma. So, Qin Chu was even more certain that this woman was with Jingda. It's true. So, Mian, have a good rest and get some sleep. Tomorrow, we'll face these troublesome things together. Qin Chu reached out and stroked her hair. For a moment, Huamian was filled with happiness. It was the first time Qin Chu had acted so intimately with her since she came back from the hospital. I'll listen to you. Honey, I'll stop. Go back and rest. I'll work on a project in the study. Then Qin Chu went to the study. Huamin watched for a while and thought Qin Chu's reaction was normal. So, she went back to her room. After she went back, she tried to contact Jingda in their way. But there was no response. Why did he run away all of a sudden? Could it be that after listening to his orders and harming Bella, he was afraid? She couldn't figure it out. In the study, Qin Chu looked at a thin strand of hair. It was a strand of hair that he stroked Huamin's head. If Qin Chu guessed right, he used this strand of hair to do a DNA comparison with Pudding and Little Bean. His conclusion was the same as Jingda. So, the woman beside him, Jingda's woman. Would she be as cruel as Jingda and do those things that hurt children? At this thought, Qin Chu's. When on earth did Mian get swapped? It was as if there was a custom-made bomb in his house. The two daughters were still unaware of the situation and really thought that their mother had returned. Mian zesty Qin Chu suddenly realized that Jingda's death didn't solve the problem. He had avenged Bella, but Qin Chu had thrown himself into an even bigger mystery. Meanwhile, on the other side of the earth, in the palace deep under the sea, Master, I have something to report. Messiah walked over. Speak. In Lin Ya's palm was a cute, colorful bird. It was eating the raw meat in Lin Ya's palm. 5 minutes ago, number 002 lost all signs of life. Oh? He's completely dead? Lin Ya looked back in surprise. He's completely dead. Furthermore, it shows that his body has suffered enormous damage and cannot be restored. I underestimated those people. They killed my 002 so quickly. What about Layla? What's she doing? Chapter 4162. There's no movement on Miss Layla's side for now. Who killed 002? Lin Ya asked again. According to the last copy of 002's retina before he died, the last person he saw before he died was Qin Chu. Oh, it's that child. Layla might have met her match this time. Miss Mian's lover doesn't seem to be an ordinary person. His sensitivity and insight are better than ordinary people. This was Messiah's high opinion of Qin Chu. So what? He's still a stupid human. Lin Ya didn't seem to have a good impression of Qin Chu. Hearing her master's words, Messiah didn't dare to say anything else. Where's Mian? Miss Mian's mood is much more stable. She's awake and seems to want to see you. Yeah, it's meaningless to lock her up like this. Bring her here. I'll tell her everything she wants to know. But, will Miss Mian be able to handle such a huge amount of information? Messiah didn't seem to want to agitate Huamin, who was about to give birth. If she can't even handle this, how can she be Layla's match? Don't forget, they're exactly the same, and it can only keep one of them. Lin Ya smiled coldly, without a trace of warmth. Messiah didn't dare to say anything else and turned to look for Huamin. Huamin had been living here for a while and was used to this rhythm. Other than Messiah, the servants here didn't speak much. It was as if they didn't dare to speak, afraid that they would say something wrong. The food she ate was fine. No one had tampered with it. Moreover, she ate very well. There were all kinds of delicacies. As for the woman who claimed to be her mother, Huamin had only seen her once. Later, when she heard from Messiah that she had gone out, Huamin had a lot of questions to ask her. So, when Messiah came to find her, she said that the master wanted to see her. Huamin was happy. At least she had to figure out something. She couldn't be imprisoned here forever. She didn't even know what was going on outside. Messiah, thank you for taking care of me recently. Huamin's sudden gratitude stunned Messiah. You're welcome, Miss Mion. It's my duty. No, there's no such thing as should or shouldn't. There's no such thing as taking things for granted in this world. You've been good to me, and I'll remember that. Huamin reached out and patted the back of Messiah's hand. Messiah looked at Huamin in surprise. Miss Layla, who looked exactly like her, wouldn't treat her like this. She had always been high and mighty, and everyone was afraid of her. But this Miss Mion in front of him was completely different. She seemed to be very kind, making him feel warm inside. Messiah had been with her master for so long, but this was the first time she had such a strange feeling. Miss Mion, don't talk back to master when you see her later. Don't provoke her. She's a bit weird and you can talk things out. After all, you're mother and daughter and you're her child. There's nothing you can't solve. Messiah seemed to be more talkative than usual because Huamin treated her well. She seemed to be reminding Huamin how to get along with Linya. Huamin smiled slightly. This seemed to be the first time he smiled since he came here. After a few steps, Huamin turned back to look at Messiah. Messiah, is that woman really my mother? Yes, Sister Mion. That's indeed your mother. After getting a positive answer, Huamin took a deep breath and prepared to see Linya again, her biological mother. Chapter 4163. Unlike last time, Linya didn't wear the crystal mask this time. She didn't stand in the hall like a queen. She was in her own room, the same white room that Huamin usually lived in. When Huamin walked in, he saw Linya holding a black kitten in her arms. The kitten was cute and obedient. The kitten meowed and ran toward Huamin. Huamin took 2 steps back subconsciously. Seth, be a good boy. Come back. Don't scare my daughter. Linya used the name, my daughter, this time, but Huamin didn't feel close to her at all. I have a lot of questions for you. Huamin said directly. I'm willing to answer your questions. Linya smiled. She was wearing a lotus-colored dress that looked like a China-style cheongsam. It was very elegant and her hair was simply tied up. To be honest, if she wasn't in her 50s, one would think she was a woman in her 30s at first glance. She was very young and had no wrinkles on her face. The only thing that made her look old was her eyes and her steady aura. Mion, sit down. You're pregnant. You'll get tired and your feet will swell if you stand for too long. I was like this when I was pregnant with you. I got tired after walking a few steps. Linya's sudden words made Huamin even more cautious. Was she trying to play the tender card? After what happened with Jingda, Huamin didn't believe this woman was his biological mother. After confirming it with Messiah, his heart was still in a mess. In short, she kept telling herself in her heart not to trust anyone so easily. Huamin slowly sat down on a very clean white chair in Linya's room. She sat down carefully and hugged her round belly. What's your relationship with Layla? Huamin couldn't help but be curious. His first question was so sharp. Linya smiled and gently stroked the little black kitten in her arms. Mion, you're like your father in this aspect. You want to get to the bottom of things first? Huamin didn't say anything. Linya said slowly, if I tell you about Layla directly, you might be confused. Let me explain it to you from the beginning. Didn't you keep asking? Didn't I die? Wasn't I in a cave in Iceland? Huamin remained silent and looked at her nervously. Me, the woman in the cave, wasn't me. That's impossible. Dad personally carried it into the ice coffin. Yen has been guarding it all these years. Huamin was very agitated and immediately refuted Linya's words. Come with me, I'll bring you to meet someone. With that, Linya stood up and walked out with Huamin following behind her. The mother and daughter arrived at a secret passage. After the scanner at the door identified Linya's fingerprints and retina, the sealed door was opened. There was only an ice coffin inside. Linya waved at Huamin. Mian, come here and look at her. Dubious, Huamin walked over and glanced at the person in the ice coffin. He was stunned. It was also Linya lying in the coffin. Although her eyes were closed, her features were exactly the same. Linya was wearing a white dress, looking like a sleeping beauty who had slept for many years. You've been saying that your dad carried her into the cave in Iceland. Lu Yen was guarding her, not me. Then who is she? Huamin's voice trembled, finding it unbelievable. How come there were so many identical people? Jingda and the dead Jingda, her and Layla, Linya and the woman in the ice coffin. Instantly, Huamin's mind was in a mess. Chapter 4164. She's a clone, and I'm the original. So, Mian, I'm your mother. She's not. Linya turned around with a smile and said to Huamin word for word. Clone. Huamin was in disbelief when he heard the word. It was like a sci-fi movie. Back when Huamian was studying medicine, she also loved scientific research, which required a lot of technology. Therefore, all she knew about cloning came from the world-famous cloned sheep, Dolly. Dolly was a female sheep created through modern engineering. It was the first artificial animal to be successfully cloned in the world. Dolly was a new individual cultivated from the adult somatic cells of a mammal using nuclear transfer technology. Simply put, it was to take a cell from a person and cultivate it again. He would become a new individual that was exactly the same as the original. However, this technology was only limited to animals and had never been tested on humans. Moreover, research on human cloning was banned all over the world. Many countries no longer advocated scientific research that was considered anti-human. Therefore, when Linya suddenly mentioned cloning to Huamin, she was in a daze. Yes, Mian. You're so smart. You should know how powerful cloning technology is. Then if you're the original, why did you separate from Dad and give him a clone? Huamin quickly found a loophole. I'll explain it to you later. You just need to know that you're my daughter, not this clone's daughter. Looking at Huamin's dazed eyes, Linya knew that he didn't believe her. Mian, after the explosion, I brought you here and performed surgery on you to save you and your child. Don't you trust me enough? What about Layla? Where did Layla go when I came here? Huamin continued to question her. Linya was slightly stunned. She didn't expect Huamin's logic to be so clear. Layla went to your house. What? Upon hearing this, Huamin's heart turned cold. That perverted woman who looked exactly the same as her actually went to her house? What did she want? What do you want? What do you want? Huamin was a little agitated and questioned Linya while panting. Mian, don't worry. Layla won't hurt your child. He's my grandson. I just asked her to test Qin Chu. Qin Chu? Huamin felt that this was ridiculous. You have to know that love can't be trusted. In this world, love is just a hypocritical lie. Men change. Qin Chu loves you now, but in a few years, when you grow old and lose your beautiful face, he won't love you so much. Layla isn't you. She just looks exactly like you, but he can't tell that it's fake. He always thinks it's you. He even slept with Layla and did many intimate things with her. That's impossible. Don't lie to me. Qin Chu and I know each other too well over the years. We know each other. It's like we know ourselves. Others can't recognize me, but Qin Chu definitely won't. Linya's words didn't anger Huamin. Instead, it made her more clear-headed. Chapter 4165. Late at night at South Hill Manor. Qin Chu didn't know how much his wife, Huamin, trusted him at this moment. She even argued with Linya again. He said that he was working overtime on a project, but that was just an excuse. Ever since he came back from the hospital, he hadn't shared a bed with this fake Huamin. In the past, Qin Chu just felt that something was wrong and subconsciously avoided it. Now that he knew that this wasn't his wife, he didn't want to have any contact with her. Qin Chu didn't let the hospital deal with the child and kept it for himself. Qin Chu got someone to do a DNA test on the stillborn and found that it was unrelated to him. Therefore, he immediately checked the hospital. He found that the doctors who performed the induced labor on Huamin that night had mysteriously disappeared. Now that he thought about it, it must be to cover up this terrifying conspiracy, right? He remembered that when he arrived, the doctor deliberately asked him if he wanted to save the child. Now that he thought about it, it was ridiculous. It was just a conspiracy. He was too sad at the time, and Suyu said that they had just experienced a big explosion. That was why Qin Chu didn't think too much about it. Now, it seemed that there were already loopholes. Qin Chu looked at the empty coffee cup. When Mian was around, she would considerately bring him a cup of coffee when he was busy. Then, she would sit on his lap and act coquettishly with him for a while. There was a voice in his heart. He wanted to know more than anyone else where his wife was. Were she and the child okay? However, he knew that there was nothing he could do. Even if he caught this fake Huamin and interrogated him like he did with Jingda, there would be no results. This organization seemed to be very mysterious, and he didn't know their ultimate goal, so he couldn't alert them. Mian, I miss you so much. I miss you so much. Qin Chu's voice was very low, almost as if he was reading lips. Then he was caught off guard and spat out a mouthful of blood. He thought that if Mian didn't come back, he would really miss her so much that he would fall ill. At the nightclub downtown, Suyu had failed to make an appointment with Qin Chu and what Huamin had said during the day. His heart was in turmoil, so he came to the nightclub to drink at night. Damn it, Tang Chuan and Qi Ning had flown to the US to celebrate his father-in-law's birthday. Wei Liao brought his wife and children to the neighboring city to attend his cousin's wedding. Therefore, he was the only one left. And didn't know how to drink. Qin Chu had no choice but to drink himself to death in the nightclub. In the spacious private room, Suyu was the only one sitting on the sofa. The neckline was wide open, and it was extremely tempting. And watched from outside the private room, afraid that those women would take the opportunity to take advantage of his boss. At this moment, An's phone rang. Hello. It's me, Xiaoan, Miss Han? And wasn't sure if it was Han Yueyao's voice in the noisy corridor. Yes, I called Suyu, but he didn't pick up. Where are you? At a nightclub. Indeed, what do you mean? A reporter I know said that he took a picture of Suyu's car outside the nightclub. I didn't believe it. President Su was drinking alone and didn't do anything else. Miss Han, don't misunderstand, and explained. Misunderstand? What misunderstanding? I'm not his girlfriend, and was embarrassed and didn't know how to answer. Are you still there? Yes, President Su drank a lot and refused to go home. Wait for me. I'll be there soon. Then she hung up the phone and opened the door and peeked in. Suyu was lying on the sofa with a bottle of wine in his hand. Chapter 4166. Han Yueyao arrived quickly. She had booked a car online. Then, she hurried upstairs and went straight to the private room on the top floor. Miss Han, so fast? Where's Suyu? The night in the north was especially cold, and Han Yueyao's cheeks were a little red from the cold. President Su is inside. Okay. Han Yueyao pushed the door open and entered like a tough woman. Perhaps she came out in a hurry, and saw that although she was wearing a down jacket outside, she was only wearing a thin pair of pants underneath. Perhaps she didn't have time to change. After Han Yueyao entered, she walked straight to the sofa. Then she lifted Suyu up. She was extremely strong. Suyu. Suyu opened his eyes and saw a blurry figure. Come and drink with me. Look at you now. Do you still look like the president of Imperial Star? Han Yueyao looked at Suyu's state and was about to break down. She vaguely felt that something had happened to Suyu recently, but she didn't know what it was. Now that he didn't say anything and was drunk here, she felt bad and her heart ached. I'm not the president. What bullshit president? I'm just a troublemaker who implicates my friends. Huh. Suyu opened his mouth and it reeked of alcohol. Looking at the scattered wine bottles on the ground, Han Yueyao frowned slightly. You want a drink, right? I'll let you drink as much as you want. Han Yueyao angrily helped Suyu sit up and grab the wine bottle in his hand. Then she poured it into his mouth. The sudden wine was very strong, and Su Yu choked and coughed. Cough, cough, cough. He pushed Han Yueao away. Unwilling to give up, Han Yueao poured the rest of the wine over Su Yu's head. When the ice-cold water entered his warm neck, it immediately made him sober up a lot. What are you doing? Do you believe that I'll beat you up? Su Yu was furious and raised his fist. Just as he was about to punch Zhang Xian, he took a closer look at the person before him and licked his lips before retracting his fist. Go on. Why don't you play? Han Yueao asked him with a sneer. Why are you here? Su Yu lowered his head and shook the wine off his body. Come and see how embarrassed our boss is. Then you've seen it, right? If you're done, you can go back. Ignoring her, Su Yu picked up a new bottle of wine from the floor. Su Yu, don't drink anymore. Look at yourself. You're not like the old you at all. Can you tell me what's wrong? Her eyes were red. She squatted down and leaned closer to Su Yu's face for the first time. She could clearly smell the unique scent of male hormones on him. If it wasn't for such a tense and intense atmosphere, she thought that she would definitely be delirious. You don't understand, Han Yueao. You won't understand my sadness. No one will understand. Su Yu was indeed drunk and couldn't speak clearly. He waved his hand and told Han Yueao to leave, as if he didn't want to be disturbed. I'm not leaving. If you want to drink, I'll drink with you. If you want to be sad, I'll be sad with you. Su Yu, I don't want you to be alone anymore. I don't want to see you alone anymore. With that, Han Yueao let go of Su Yu, picked up the wine bottle on the ground, and gulped it down, and stood outside the door, watching the scene in horror. He thought to himself, didn't Miss Han advise President Su to drink less? Why is she drinking too? How am I going to control this situation? Chapter 4167. Seeing Han Yueao drink, Su Yu became excited again. The two of them drank beer, red wine, and imported wine in the private room. In the end, they even played a new trick. An hour later, In came in and was dumbfounded. The two of them were playing. Two little bees. Su Yu's face was red from the slap. Two little bees, flying in the flowers, flying, flying. Lin Fan's eyes widened. It was a simple game of rock, paper, scissors, but Su Yu lost miserably because he wasn't agile enough. Enough, you do. It's getting late. Let's go back. And saw that if they continued drinking, they would probably drink until their stomachs bled. He might as well forcefully separate the two of them. Then he called the waiter from the nightclub to help him get them into the car. Fortunately, he didn't drive a sports car today. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to get them back in one go. And drove Su Yu's Mercedes-Benz back to Su Yu's mansion. As soon as Su Yu walked in, he passed out in the living room. Han Yueao, on the other hand, rushed into the bathroom and vomited, and struggled to help Su Yu upstairs. However, Han Yueao held onto him tightly. So you come down. Let's continue drinking. Whoever admits defeat is a little bastard. You're the little bastard. Hearing Han Yueao's call, Su Yu pushed him away and the two drunk cats ran downstairs. In a daze, Han Yueao opened the fridge. She took out a lot of cold beer. Oh my God, don't drink anymore. I'm going crazy. Go, make some stir-fry for us. Han Yueao pointed at him with her tongue in her mouth. And wanted to cry, yes, make a few more and add less salt. Su Yu added, do you think I'm a chef? Su Yu, let me tell you, I've never seen a man like you before. This is the first time I've seen a man like you in my life. Do you know? This is the first time I've seen a woman like you. Look at you, your personality is like a female bandit. It's a waste of your beautiful face. You shouldn't have entered the entertainment industry. You have the face of an AV actress. Su Yu even made a rare joke, and it was the kind with color. Hearing this, Han Yueao immediately pounced on Su Yu and pushed him onto the sofa. You're an actress? Don't think that I won't do anything to you just because you're my boss. What can you do to me? Su Yu was also drunk. He was in a hurry. Suddenly, without warning, Han Yueao's lips. In the next second, suddenly, the phone in N's hand fell to the ground with a thud. What did he see? Was it a hallucination? Miss Han Yueao kissed President Su. It was a domineering kiss. Han Yueao pounced on Su Yu. Suyu was below her. Then, she kissed him domineeringly, perhaps because she didn't have much experience in kissing. Han Yueyao didn't know what to do after she kissed him. If she let go, it would be awkward. If she didn't let go, it would still be awkward. It lasted for a full minute, more than 60 seconds. Suyu seemed to understand and pushed Han Yueyao away. Then he quickly got up. I need to go to the bathroom. I can't hold it in anymore. He found a lame excuse and ran away. President Su, that's the kitchen? You're in the wrong place. The bathroom is this way. And couldn't stand it anymore and pointed the way for Suyu. Suyu felt even more awkward. The scariest thing was that he suddenly sobered up. Chapter 4168. Perhaps because the kiss was too intense, Han Yueyao seemed to have sobered up a little. She got up from the ground and fell onto the sofa, her cheeks flushed. Suyu went to the bathroom for a full 10 minutes, to avoid embarrassment, and ran back to his room and closed the door. When Suyu came out of the bathroom again, he glanced at Han Yueyao on the sofa. He said awkwardly, "I'm going upstairs to sleep. I'm a little dizzy. Ask him to prepare a guest room for you. If you want to go back and can drive you." Then he ran upstairs as fast as he could, as if he was running for his life. But Han Yueyao yelled at him. "Suyu, stop right there." Suyu immediately stopped, but he didn't dare to look back. In the room, and was eager to gossip. He leaned against the door and listened. Han Yueyao stood up unsteadily. She walked up to Suyu step by step. "Suyu, you're a man. Why are you running away? I was the one who kissed you. You didn't do anything to me. Suyu, to be honest. Did you feel anything when I kissed you?" Suyu. Han Yueyao must be drunk to ask such explicit questions. It would be strange if Suyu could answer. Then he wouldn't be Suyu. And, who was eavesdropping in the room, almost vomited blood. "It's getting late." Han Yueyao, hurry up. "Suyu, can't you not run away? How old are you? You're almost 30 years old. Most of your life has passed. You're not afraid of anything. Are you afraid of a little girl like me?" Han Yueyao didn't want to see Suyu's perfunctory attitude. "You know you're a little girl. So, blondie, go to sleep. Stop fooling around." "I'm not fooling around, Suyu. You know how I feel about you." Han Yueyao blurted out the words in excitement. Suyu seemed to have a premonition in his heart. He didn't feel surprised or strange, but the atmosphere once again fell into an incomparably awkward state. "Suyu, I like him. You can tell, and the whole world can tell, right? But I know that you have no obligation to accept me. Love is a pure thing. It doesn't change just because you're my boss and I'm your subordinate, or because you're a rich man and I'm just an ordinary person. To be honest, I never dreamed that I would fall in love with someone like you one day. A person like me. What's wrong with me?" Suyu smiled faintly and joked. "That's right. I thought I would meet an ordinary person I like, get married, have children, and live a peaceful life. I didn't think I would be so ignorant as to fall in love with an important person, but since I've fallen in love, I will follow my heart." Different from Zheng Ro threw herself at Suyu regardless of his feelings. After forcefully kissing Suyu, Han Yueyao didn't go up to hug him or offer herself up to him. Instead, she respected Suyu's thoughts. She respected her own personality more. Hearing her words, Suyu heaved a long sigh of relief. He knew since they had made it clear, he couldn't avoid it. He could only face it head-on. Exhaling deeply, Suyu turned his head and looked into Han Yueyao's eyes. At this moment, Han Yueyao was very nervous. She didn't know what Suyu would say. Would he reject or accept? Anyway, everything was unknown. Like a child waiting for her teacher to announce her grades, she was anxious, worried, and a little hopeful. Chapter 4169. Han Yueyao, the old Suyu, might have been outstanding in your eyes, but he's not anymore. The old Suyu is dead. I don't know why you like me. If you want money, I have it. If you want fame, I can give it to you. If you want fame and fortune, I can give it to you. I'm okay with sleeping with you. If you ask me for love, then I'm sorry, I don't have it. You know, the whole world knows I, Suyu, gave all my love to Huamin. Suyu said this very seriously. He knew that Han Yueyao would be sad to death after he said it. However, he still had to make some things clear. He couldn't use the excuse of being in a relationship to mislead her and waste her youth. With the cases of Jian Tong and Yelingxian, Suyu didn't dare to flirt with any woman. He was afraid that he would hurt her feelings. Suyu would rather Han Yueyao for fame and fortune, money, and other motives. At least he would feel better if he did. However, he knew that a girl as sincere as Han Yueyao wouldn't do it for those extravagant things. Since she dared to confess, she must be moved. However, Suyu didn't have love. He really couldn't give Han Yueyao any love. There was nothing he could do. And was at the door and gritted his teeth angrily. President Su is so silly. Doesn't that mean he missed out on another good girl? Miss Han is really a good person? It seems like the old bachelor is going to stay single. Just when everyone thought that Han Yueyao would be in so much pain that she would cry, she didn't. She didn't. This girl was always so unpredictable. She retracted the red rims of her eyes and the tears that were about to fall. Then she smiled. It was a very sweet smile. She looked at Suyu and said, "So, the world is fair. When you give your heart and soul to someone but don't get a response, God will definitely send someone as silly as you to treat you wholeheartedly. Suyu, I understand that you're willing to protect Sister Mion for the rest of your life. And I'm willing to protect you for the rest of my life. You're such a good person. You deserve my protection. Han Yueyao, don't do this. You'll regret it." Suyu was upset. He didn't expect this girl to be so stubborn. "Then let me ask you, have you ever regretted loving Sister Mion for so many years?" "I haven't," Suyu answered frankly. "So, Suyu, no matter what you were before, what you are now, and what you'll become in the future, you'll always be in my heart. No matter whether you're good or bad, no matter what great or wrong you've done, you'll always be Suyu, the outstanding man I love. I don't need you to agree to date me. I just need you to be friends with me, just like you are with Sister Mion. Let me be by your side, watch you be happy, and protect you. That's all." "Han Yueyao, you can't do this. You'll get married in the future. Don't do stupid things to delay yourself. Will you give up on Sister Mion and marry someone else in the future?" Han Yueyao asked Suyu another difficult question. Chapter 4170. Hearing Han Yueyao's question, Suyu fell silent again. Yes. Could he let go of Mion and marry another woman? To be honest, he hadn't thought about this question himself. He just wanted to live one day at a time, but in the blink of an eye, 4 years had passed. In the past 4 years, Suyu had been jokingly called a forever single dog by his friends. He seemed to have gotten used to it. So, when Han Yueyao asked him if he would get married in the future, he really didn't know how to answer. Say yes? He wasn't sure. Say no? He wasn't sure either. There were too many uncertainties. If you think it's hard to answer, you don't have to. Anyway, this question isn't important to me. But don't say that you're holding me back or that I'll get married in the future because my answer is the same as yours. Although I don't dare to say that I won't get married for the rest of my life for you, at least not now. I'll follow my heart. If one day I let go of you, then I'll openly fall in love, get married, and have children. Maybe then I'll ask you for a big red packet." Han Yueyao smiled brightly. Hearing the girl's heartfelt words, Suyu didn't know what to feel. He could only say that he was touched and heartbroken. He felt heartbroken because there seemed to be another idiot in the world who was as infatuated as him. He was touched that there were girls who were willing to give their hearts to someone like him without asking for anything in return. She didn't force him to marry her, date him, or reciprocate. She was only willing to like him silently. This kind of thing was easy to say but difficult to do. During this period, Suyu had a certain understanding of Han Yueyao and knew that she wasn't the kind of person who only knew how to sweet talk. Therefore, what she said was more authoritative. "Okay, I've said what I wanted to say. President Su, rest early. Tomorrow is a new day. Let's work hard and live every day." Then Han Yueyao turned and walked downstairs to the living room. "And, are you asleep?" No. Hearing Han Yueyao call him, and immediately ran out. Can I trouble you to take me home? I'm not used to being in an unfamiliar environment. I like the small bed in my staff dormitory. Sure. Can we leave now? Alright, let's go. Han Yueyao walked ahead of him. When she reached the door, she looked back and smiled sweetly at him. Good night, President Su. Sweet dreams. This lass is really... Su Yu felt a headache coming on. Seeing her leave, he felt relieved. If this girl stayed tonight, he would feel uncomfortable. After all, she was different from those young models who spent the night at his house. He could just leave those young models in the living room and let the media write whatever they wanted. But Han Yueyao was different. Fortunately, the girl had left. Perhaps she didn't want to make things too awkward. After Han Yueyao left, Su Yu lay on the bed. He didn't have the energy to think about other things. After all, he had drunk too much. Therefore, he slept all the way until dawn. The next morning Su Yu had thought that rumors about him and Han Yueyao would spread everywhere. After all, the paparazzi would make an issue of Han Yueyao's visit to his mansion. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The reason was that late last night, Han Yueyao returned to her dormitory and posted this on her personal Weibo. Who said that President Su is desperate and brings women home to spend the night? Last night, I took the initiative to go to his house and was kicked out. Okay? Please don't slander our president in the future. After all, he's a good boss who pays his salary on time. Su Yu was so angry that he laughed when he saw this Weibo post. How could she be so naughty? Chapter 4171. After Han Yueyao made fun of herself, the netizens didn't criticize her. Instead, she gained hundreds of thousands of fans and even became a trending topic. The trending topic was, Han Yueyao delivered herself to his door. When they clicked on this Weibo post, they knew it was a joke. This way, the media wouldn't dare to expose the photos of Han Yueyao going to Su Yu's house last night. After all, Han Yueyao did come out soon. This way, Han Yueyao made fun of herself and also protected Su Yu from being described as a playboy by the unscrupulous media. In the dressing room of the performing arts department, Han Yueyao logged into Weibo with her phone and was in a good mood when she saw the comments. Wow, Big Yao, you're really good at making fun of yourself. I'm in love with you. Ha, the girl is so funny. I'm your fan now. I knew you were a good seedling. Goddess, are there any variety shows coming up? I'll definitely watch them. I heard that you had an affair with Su Yu and thought you might be the second Yelingxin. Now it seems that you're not. Hi, you're so cute. You even delivered yourself to his door and got kicked out. But President Su has bad eyesight recently? Those young models aren't as pretty as you. Why did he kick you out? In a good mood, Han Yueyao replied to this netizen, I think it's because my chest is flat. Haha, you're so cute. Her reply instantly caused a heated discussion among the netizens. An hour later, the trending topic changed to Han Yueyao's flat chest. She had a lot of fun with the netizens on Weibo. However, Han Yueyao also posted a post on her WeChat friend circle. This post was different from the one that made fun of herself. She wrote, what this world doesn't lack the most is beautiful women everywhere, rich people everywhere, promiscuous playboys everywhere, tricks everywhere, and so-called love that has overflowed to the extreme everywhere. The only thing missing was the sense of responsibility, sense of security, loyalty, as well as the unrepentant determination that shouldn't be missing in love. Han Yueyao didn't have many friends on her WeChat friend circle, therefore, these words came from the bottom of his heart. When Su Yu saw it, he wanted to like it but was afraid that the little girl would think too much, so he pretended not to see it. Su Xiaoxiao gave a like and commented, oh, someone's heart is about to move. I wish you success. Ha! The revolution hasn't succeeded yet. Warriors still need to work hard, Han Yueyao replied to Su Xiaoxiao. Su Yu also saw it clearly. When Huamin woke up in the morning and saw this message, the corner of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Ha! A filthy woman from the entertainment industry wants to get her hands on Su Yu in your dreams. Layla was not Huamin. Of course, she would not have any feelings for this little girl. So he deliberately left a comment below and asked, Yao Yao, are you talking about Yuan Bo? You two are really a perfect match. Sister Mian, it's not him. Ha, that guy really isn't my type. Seeing Huamin's comments, Han Yueyao was happy. She didn't see any malicious intent, but she wondered if Sister Xiongmin was in a good mood and was willing to talk. Huamin did not reply to her. Yuan Bo, on the other hand, picked up his cell phone and saw Weibo. He clicked on it and commented and reposted it, saying, "Beauty, if you're in a relationship, you'll cut your wrists if you break up." When this post was posted, his fans burst into laughter. "Are you two showing off your love?" This fan comment was pinned to the top and was liked tens of thousands of times. In the dressing room, the agent whispered in Han Yueyao's ear, "Yao, shall we use this opportunity to hype up your relationship with Yuan Bo? It'll make your popularity skyrocket. It's a rare opportunity. More importantly, he's interested in you and your fans are willing to accept it." Chapter 4172. Hearing her agent's suggestion, her face fell. "Sis, you know me. I don't want to take advantage of other people's popularity. But I think Yuan Bo is really interested in you. He's not trying to make things up for nothing. What are you afraid of? It's because he's sincere that I can't take advantage of him. It's shameless to trample on other people's sincerity. I'd rather not be famous than be shameless." She rarely lost her temper with her agent or assistant. She didn't mind working a little harder. But when it came to principles, Han Yueyao didn't show any mercy. Her agent was embarrassed. "It's okay. Don't do it. I'm just giving you a suggestion." Her agent tried to smooth things over with a smile. Su Yu finished his work in the morning and was going to have a quick lunch in the employee cafeteria. But he received a WeChat message from Qin Chu. "Do you want to have lunch together?" Su Yu wondered if it was really Qin Chu's tone. Why did it sound like he was going on a date with him? "You're Qin Chu, right? Did someone hack your WeChat message?" Su Yu typed a reply. "Qin Chu, do you want to say something to me?" Su Yu wasn't sure and was afraid it was a prank. But judging from his profile picture and WeChat moments, he knew it was Qin Chu. But why did he sound like, "It's me"? 3 seconds later, Qin Chu sent a voice message. It was only 1 second with 2 words, and it was extremely clean and concise. Now Su Yu was no longer suspicious. He immediately asked, "Okay, where do you want to eat?" "Anywhere." "Su Yu, do you want to eat Hunan cuisine?" Su Yu asked tentatively. Qin Chu quickly agreed to Su Yu's suggestion. After all, meeting was the most important thing. Eating was second. After all, the two men weren't close and wouldn't eat just for the sake of eating. Su Yu sat down in the staff cafeteria. After making a reservation on WeChat, he stood up and walked out again. They bumped into Han Yueyao, who came to eat. "President Su, are you here for dinner?" Han Yueyao wasn't embarrassed at all and spoke in a formal tone. "All right." Seeing that Su Yu was about to leave, Han Yueyao hurriedly made way for him. From the outside, the relationship between the two of them was very normal and not strange at all. On the other hand, and felt awkward looking at the two of them. When they walked out and asked, "President Su, Miss Han is a tough woman with a strong heart." "Agreed." Su Yu nodded while playing with his car keys. "I think with your personality, you need a woman with a strong heart as your wife." "What? Did Han Yueyao bribe you?" Su Yu chuckled. No. Miss Han is so stingy. She doesn't even want to spend money on herself. How could she bribe me? I'm just being honest. Hurry up and go upstairs. Go wherever it's cool. I'm going to eat. I'll drive myself. What about me? President Su? I'll give you 3 hours off. You can wander around a university and see if you can pick up a girl. With that, Su Yu pressed the key and got into a flashy sapphire blue Porsche sports car. Pick up a girl? That's a waste of money. Forget it. I'd rather miss my goddess Lu Yan. And shook his head. The famous Hunan cuisine restaurant in the city. When Su Yu arrived, he saw Qin Chu's car. President Su, President Qin is here. He's waiting for you in room 8 upstairs, the restaurant manager said respectfully. Su Yu nodded slightly and went upstairs. Chapter 4173. The private room upstairs in the Hunan restaurant was very exquisite. Qin Chu arrived a few minutes early and was in room 8. When Suyu went upstairs, he was actually feeling nervous. After all, he had taken the initiative to talk to Qin Chu before, but he was rejected. Now, he was looking for him again? Was he in the mood to criticize him? Was he scolding him for the lost child? Or was it because he had paid for Huamin and bought so many things? Suyu's heart was in a mess. To be honest, after returning from Yunnan this time, he felt that the atmosphere was strange. He couldn't tell exactly what was strange. He only knew that there was always an indescribable feeling. It was very strange. When Suyu entered the door, he saw Qin Chu making tea with his head lowered. "You're here." Sit down." "You order." Please note that Qin Chu's words were not a question, but a statement. Suyu took off his coat and sat across from Qin Chu. Then he picked up the menu. "Is there anything you want to eat?" Suyu asked Qin Chu. "I'm fine with anything." "Fuck. I give up. You're a total Buddhist." "I'm fine with anything." Suyu was sweating. "You order." Qin Chu slowly poured Suyu a cup of tea and pushed it in front of Suyu. "Waiter, order." Suyu didn't stand on ceremony. Seeing that Qin Chu said he was fine with anything, he decided to order a few things that he liked. Everyone who came to the Hunan restaurant knew that spicy food was the best. Just like Sichuan cuisine, chili was the most famous. The waiter came in respectfully with an ordering device in his hand. "President Su, please tell me. I'll take note of it for you." Steamed fish head with diced hot red peppers, home-style tofu, Hunan-style stir-fry, sautéed bacon with dried tofu, spicy lotus root slices, Hunan tujia fish. Suyu ordered 6 dishes in one go. "President Su, we're almost done. We have a lot of dishes here. It's enough for you and President Qin. We've already ordered 6 dishes." The waiter kindly reminded him. Suyu nodded and closed the menu. "Make us another soup. West Lake beef soup." "Okay, President Su, what do you want for the main course?" "Let's wait for the main course." "Qin Chu, do you want to drink?" "How can you drive after drinking?" Qin Chu glanced at him. "You can call a designated driver or a chauffeur to pick you up," Suyu said with a swagger. "Then you don't have to attend the meeting in the afternoon. Do you want to go back to the office to sleep?" "You win. Waiter, bring 2 bottles of mineral water and rice for the main course." "Okay, President Su." Seeing that Qin Chu wasn't interested in drinking, Suyu simply didn't order any alcohol and ordered 2 bottles of mineral water. After the waiter left, the room was dead silent. Qin Chu was famous for his awkward silence. His words were less than a quarter of Suyu's. Therefore, Suyu regretted not bringing in. After all, he didn't like awkward conversations. Just as he was thinking about what to say, Qin Chu spoke first. "How's the company recently?" "Oh, not bad." "Don't tell me you're here to borrow money from me?" Suyu asked deliberately. "Do you think you have more money than me? Where did you get your confidence from?" Qin Chu glanced at Suyu speechlessly. I don't think I have less money than you. Do you want to compare bank balances?" "Boring." Suyu, Qin Chu, don't tell me you're here to have dinner with me today." "Of course not." "So what's our theme today?" Suyu felt that he couldn't hold it in any longer. "How many times have you seen Mian since you came back from Yunnan?" "Are you misunderstanding something? There's nothing between me and Huamin. You don't have to explain. That's not what I want to ask. Just answer my question." "About 2 or 3 times." Suyu tried hard to remember. "Do you think she's the same as before?" "What do you mean?" Suyu looked at Qin Chu in confusion. Chapter 4174. That's in terms of emotions and state. Compared to before. Now that you mention it, it's true. After she came back from Yunnan, she became more depressed. But it's understandable. After all, she's been through so much. "Yeah, Suyu, at the gas station, there were only you, Huasiqian, and you. But Huasiqian is dead, so I can only ask you or Mian about what happened that day. But you know that Mian isn't in a good mood, so I don't dare to tell her everything that happened that day. So, can you tell me in detail what happened after you escaped from the gas station until the explosion?" About that, hey, I'll try to recall it. Hearing Qin Chu ask about what happened that day, Su Yu didn't suspect anything. He tried his best to recall what happened that day, and even told him about hiding at an old woman's house and eating corn paste. Qin Chu listened quietly without batting an eyelid. Then the explosion happened. When we woke up, we were in the hospital. That's what happened. I understand. What's wrong? Do you have any new clues? Su Yu asked Qin Chu, feeling like he had something else to say. No, I'm just asking. Let's eat. Okay. After you came back, did Mian mention that she was going to bring the old woman and the little girl here? If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten. We did make a promise back then. Mian seemed to want to thank them properly, but I forgot about it after I came back. No, I'll get someone to do it right now. No, leave it to me. I'll do it. Qin Chu took the initiative to take over. This isn't a good idea? It's fine. After all, I'm doing it for Mian. It'll solve her problem. Su Yu didn't suspect anything and thought that Qin Chu made sense. Then the waiter served the dishes, and the two men ate slowly. Qin Chu confirmed one thing from Su Yu's words. That was, the woman with the golden mask was present at the time of the explosion. Among the remains found, besides being compared to Wuxia, the others were also tested. At that time, Qin Chu remembered very clearly that the police in Yunnan told him that they were all male corpses. In other words, the body of the woman with the golden mask wasn't among them? Then there was a big explosion. Su Yu emphasized that Wuxia was so close to the woman with the golden mask. But that woman had disappeared for no reason? And she escaped the explosion? How was that possible? So, this woman, could it be that woman? The more Qin Chu thought about it, the more terrified he became. If the woman in his house was really the woman with the golden mask, then she must be very capable. After all, she could easily avoid the explosion and bribe the doctors in the hospital in a short period of time. Not only did she have babies, but she also made it seem like she was pregnant. This was a really big move. The more Qin Chu thought about it, the less he was in the mood to eat. He barely ate a bowl of rice, but Su Yu had a good appetite. Qin Chu, I heard from Mian that you two aren't on good terms recently. She even told you that. You can't blame her. She felt wronged and complained to me. I think you've been together for so many years, you know best what kind of person she is. You shouldn't misunderstand her. You'd rather misunderstand me and think that I have bad intentions than misunderstand Mian. I've been with Mian since high school. I know my wife better than anyone else, Qin Chu said word by word. Chapter 4175. That's why you shouldn't treat her like that. She even talked about divorce. How serious do you think it is? Su Yu tried to persuade Qin Chu out of kindness, hoping that they could talk things out. Divorce? Did she tell you that? Qin Chu sneered. Of course she didn't mean it. Maybe you pissed her off, I think, Su Yu explained. I think so. You're a man. Regardless of whether she's right or wrong, I think you should apologize to her. Mian hasn't had it easy all these years. Let me say something, but don't think I'm being nosy. Mian raised the twins by herself and helped you manage GK while taking care of the kids for more than 3 years. It was really hard. Although Tang Chuan, Xiaowei, and I took care of her, we couldn't really help her with the details. She still had to rely on herself. It's not her fault that the kids are gone. As I said, it's my fault. It was because she saved me, so I hope you won't take it out on her. I won't take it out on you. Mian saved you because she discussed it with me. I won't dwell on it. Then why is your relationship so strained recently? Maybe it's because Mian's been very fragile recently. I'll talk to her when I have time. Yeah, I think so too. Why can't you talk things out with her? Okay. Qin Chu's attitude was very good. He nodded no matter what Su Yu said. After dinner, Qin Chu left first. Before he left, he didn't forget to remind Mian, don't forget to pay the bill. Didn't you treat me? Su Yu froze. Didn't you just say that you think you're richer than me? So, I'm giving you a chance. Damn. Qin Chu, you evil capitalist. Su Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Who would have thought that the president of GK would go back on his word? Su Yu, on the other hand, was in a good mood because Qin Chu's actions proved that they had a good relationship. They didn't hate each other and trusted each other. After all, they were in the mood to joke around. Waiter, the bill. President Su, the total is 680 yuan. Su Yu took out a few $100 bills and handed them over. Then, he took out his phone from the private room and posted it on his WeChat moments. Everyone come and watch. President Qin said he would treat me to dinner, but he ran away first and left me to pay the bill. Ah, what a scam. I think I should go to his house tonight and take a blue and white porcelain to vent my anger. Qin Chu unreasonably commented below, if President Su doesn't mind the imitation, feel free to hug her. Su Yu replied to Qin Chu, fine, you're ruthless enough. In order not to let me take advantage of you, you even replaced the porcelain bottles at home with imitation ones. Tang Chuan, ha, brother-in-law is mighty and domineering. Su Yu replied to Tang Chuan, who the hell are you with? Tang Chuan replied to Su Yu, ever since I got married, I've been a member of the Qin family. Even if I die, I'll still be a ghost of the Qin family. Su Yu replied to Tang Chuan, shameless, wait until I see you. Pudding commented, my daddy has been a bit free lately. I rarely see him running orders. Handsome Su, you're in luck. Su Yu replied to Pudding, why does that sound so wrong? So whose side are you on? Pudding commented, handsome Su, if you're willing to buy me a dirty bag, I'll pretend to be on your side. Su Yu was speechless. Pretend? Pudding, come out. I'll give you a good beating. You still want to pretend when I buy you a dirty bag? It's obvious that we're plastic flowers. Pudding replied, ha, you're wrong. We're not plastic flowers. We're glass shards. Su Yu replied to Pudding, little brat, you want to hit me when I'm down? I'll tell Bu Yuan that you went to have dessert with your school idol last Wednesday after school. Chapter 4176. Because of Qin Chu's attitude, Su Yu felt that Qin Chu and Huamin's relationship would definitely improve. Therefore, he was in a good mood and posted on his WeChat moments, which was rare. Han Yueao also liked it in time. Then, she commented, I have a bold guess. President Su, you really love President Qin. You're good to Sister Mian because you want to take the opportunity to get close to President Qin. Su Yu replied to Han Yueao, do you dare to tell me where you are now? I'll save you so that I can beat you to death. Han Yueao replied to Su Yu, ha, sure. The third door of the women's washroom next to the performance department on the third floor. Bring me a roll of toilet paper when you come. I want the good quality ones. Thank you. Su Yu replied to Han Yueao. Without the burden of an idol, Han Yueao kissed Su Yu and confessed her love to him domineeringly. She had already become a happy little clown. However, this was the best outcome. She wouldn't make things difficult for Su Yu and wouldn't get hurt. Just like before, they got along happily. On the other hand, Qin Chu thought about a lot of things after returning from the Hunan restaurant. Then, he sent someone to pick up the grandfather and granddaughter who had taken in Huamin and the others to take refuge in the mountains of Yunnan. After doing all this, Qin Chu suddenly sent Huamin a video call. Huamin was drinking cocktails and enjoying the scenery on the rooftop of a luxurious hotel owned by GK. Unlike the real Huamin, Layla was a person who enjoyed life. She couldn't keep herself cooped up in South Hill Manor every day. To Huamin, it was a warm home. To her, it was an exquisite cage. Therefore, she took the opportunity to argue with Qin Chu to come out and buy all kinds of things. She even drank alone on the rooftop. Everyone knew that she was the chairman's wife, so they treated her with extra care. She still lived a life of being surrounded by stars. After accepting Qin Chu's video call, Huamin called out sweetly, honey, where are you? Qin Chu asked indifferently when he saw that Huamin's back didn't look like a home's furnishings. I'm at our family's hotel. It's too boring to be alone, so I came to get some fresh air and have something to eat. Do you want to join me? No need. I just want to ask you something. What is it? Su, you mentioned to me today that when you guys were running for your lives in Yunnan, you seemed to have met some kind of benefactor. He even said that you were going to bring that person back. Is that true? Huamin was momentarily stunned. Then he immediately searched his mind for the information that Qin Chu had mentioned. Oh, there is such a thing. I almost forgot about it. Who are they? Where do they live? Give me their address and I'll send someone to pick them up. After all, you promised to do this, so don't let Su Yu do it. It's not good. Hey honey, but I'm drinking and I'm a little dizzy. I'll think about it later and send you the information, okay? Mia, your memory wasn't so bad in the past. Even if you were drunk, you would remember everything. What's wrong with you now? Qin Chu stared at her with a sharp gaze. Layla felt very guilty. Then she said coquettishly, Honey, maybe it's because I was too shocked this time. Maybe it's because of the explosion. All right, tell me when you remember. That's all. With that, Qin Chu hung up the phone. He knew that this would be the outcome. After Su Yu mentioned this matter, he was even more certain that if it was the real Mian, she would never forget such a big thing. Mian was someone who knew how to be grateful. Therefore, this fake Huamin was starting to give herself away. How long would it take to reveal her true colors? Qin Chu began to look forward to it. He had to tear off this woman's disgusting disguise. Chapter 4177. After hanging up the phone, Layla felt that something was wrong. Logically speaking, Qin Chu liked Huamin very much. She had read a lot of information about them. She also shared a lot of common memories with Huamin. However, Qin Chu didn't look like a man who loved her deeply at all. Ever since they came back from Yunnan, they hadn't slept in the same bed. No matter how coquettishly she tried to make up with him, he didn't even do anything intimate. Qin Chu was still cold. He even subconsciously avoided her actions. Had she been discovered? That was impossible. Layla thought she had pretended well and imitated Huamin's charm very well. No one could see through her. Now, 002 had disappeared without a trace. As for her, when she left, she had boasted to her master. She had said that she would get videos or photos of Qin Chu being intimate with her. Therefore, she didn't dare to contact the headquarters. President Qin. Don't force me. If I can't have you, I'd rather destroy you than let Huamin have you. On the rooftop, Layla smiled wickedly with a cocktail in her hand. At the headquarters of Imperial Star, Han Yueao didn't expect to meet Yuan Bo here. So, she was very surprised. Hello, my tough girl. Why you here? Ha, I have a photo shoot with your company. What a coincidence, right? I saw you on a business trip this morning. Yeah. I flew here to see you this afternoon. Did you miss me? Yuan Bo liked to tease Han Yueao. Especially after their last cooperation, they had been interacting with each other frequently. However, Han Yueao didn't reply to him much. Sometimes, he would tag her on Weibo. Han Yueao would reply a few times, but this guy seemed to be haunting her. I missed you so much that I almost forgot about you. Ha, it's okay. I'll try to visit you every week. That way, you won't forget me. Big brother, I beg you. Please let me go. Han Yueao felt a headache coming on when she heard that they would see each other once a week. Call me hubby and I'll consider letting you go. Yuan Bo was probably used to flirting with girls, so his words were quite bold. For Han Yueao, she didn't even dare to think about being called husband so intimately. So, he punched Yuan Bo in embarrassment. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and get back to work. I'm not busy. Your company's photographer hasn't arrived yet. I can take this opportunity to catch up with you. What happened? I heard that you took the initiative to visit your boss the other day and got rejected? Ha, yeah. So what? Han Yueao was still confident. Why don't you look for me? You'll definitely be satisfied with my service. Plus, I don't mind being flat-chested. After all, I have a pretty face. Damn, you filthy king, your words are too dirty. I can't talk to you anymore. No, I'm leaving. Han Yueao looked for a chance to run. Han Yueao, I'm in love with him. Do you want to date him? Talk your ass. I don't have an uncle. I'm the only male in the family. You can only choose me. Fuck off. Han Yueao covered her face and ran away quickly. This guy's level wasn't something ordinary people could accept. Han Yueyao thought she was thick-skinned, but she was still bullied away by Yuan Bo. Looking at Han Yueyao's fleeing figure, Yuan Bo smirked. Yuan Bo smiled mischievously. Big Yao Yao is such a nice girl. I really want to sleep with her. Hearing his words, his agent looked disdainful. Sleep with her? So be it if you want to sleep with her? You're playing tricks on me. At the gate of the elite school in the city, the twins walked out hand in hand and saw Su Yu's car parked at the gate. They were instantly delighted. Chapter 4178. Handsome Su, you really came to pick us up? That's great. Little Bean's words were always more important than puddings. To take care of the twins' comfort, Su Yu didn't drive a sports car to show off. Instead, he bought a new Audi A8L and drove the car himself. The twins got into the car under the envious gazes of their classmates. Su Yu even prepared vanilla ice cream for the twins in the back of the car. Little Bean's eyes almost fell out when she saw the ice cream. Wow, there's ice cream too. Handsome Su, I'll give you 32 likes. Your mommy doesn't allow you to eat ice cream, right? You can only eat it a few times at home, so you can occasionally be presumptuous here. Su Yu smiled as he drove. Mommy has been extra generous recently. She lets us eat ice cream, Little Bean pouted. Oh, that's impossible. Your mommy is so old-fashioned. She uses the medical knowledge she learned to emphasize that we can't eat this, that, and that there's too much junk food and it's unhealthy. Su Yu obviously didn't believe it. Pudding said, It's true, Handsome Su. Mommy doesn't stop us from eating ice cream anymore. That good? I don't know. Anyway, Mommy seems to be different from before. Pudding was worried at the mention of her mommy. Hey, don't think too much. Your mommy is in a bad mood. We all understand. She'll be fine after a while. Su Yu had always thought that Huamin's abnormalities were understandable because of this incident. On the way, Su Yu chatted intimately with the twins, until they arrived at the Su family's mansion. It was rare that Lord Su and Mr. Su were both here. As soon as the twins entered the house, they had a lot of fun. Even South Hill Manor didn't seem so lively. Qin Chu didn't tell anyone that Bella was injured and hospitalized. He was afraid that too many people would talk and complicate things. After all, Qin Chu wanted everyone to have too much contact with this fake Huamin. She was an extremely dangerous person. Especially when Su Yu talked about what happened that day and Qin Chu's analysis that this woman was the golden-masked woman. Therefore, the twins did not know that their aunt was in a vegetative state. She just happily ate at the Su family's house. During the banquet, Lady Su pulled her son aside. I want to talk to you about something. Go ahead, Mom. Do you know the young boss of Chuangxing Technology? Xia Guangyu? Yes, he used to be my classmate in high school. Yes, Xia Guangyu. His mother and I have a good relationship. Recently, she has been asking me to introduce girls to her. So? Su Yu looked at his mother. I think Yao Yao is not bad. Are you going to introduce a boyfriend to her? Su Yu asked directly. Yeah, aren't you Yao Yao's boss? If you agree, I'll ask her. Sure, I'm fine with it as long as she agrees. Su Yu readily agreed. This was contrary to Lady Su's thoughts. She didn't really want to introduce a boyfriend to Han Yueyao. She just wanted to see her son Su Yu's jealous expression. However, he didn't. Why did you agree so readily? Lady Su was displeased. What else can I do? Are you happy that I rejected you? Su Yu smiled. Don't you feel uncomfortable that I'm introducing a boyfriend to Yao Yao? Lady Su finally couldn't help but ask her son. Mom, what's wrong with your question? Why would I feel uncomfortable that you're introducing a boyfriend to Han Yueyao? Su Yu looked innocent. Chapter 4179. Forget it. Just pretend I didn't ask you anything. Obviously, Lady Su was angry and turned to leave. Oh, the old lady has a bad temper recently. Why is she acting like this? Is she going through menopause? Su Yu was also baffled by his mother's behavior. To be honest, Su Yu didn't think there was anything wrong with introducing a boyfriend to Han Yueyao. Maybe everyone had overestimated Han Yueyao's position in Su Yu's heart. After all, falling in love with someone wasn't something that could happen overnight. Loving Huamin forever had become an inexplicable habit for Su Yu. Therefore, he subconsciously rejected the idea of someone else replacing Huamin in his heart. Even a good girl like Han Yueyao couldn't steal Huamin from his heart so quickly. After dinner, the twins played for a while and Su Yu saw Little Bean was sleepy. So, he walked the two kids home. Before she left, Mrs. Su still didn't give up and asked her son, aren't you jealous at all? Let me tell you, there aren't many good girls like Yao nowadays. Don't regret it when you lose her. You won't get another chance like her. Su Yu, after the unpleasant conversation with his mother, Su Yu walked out. Little Bean got into the car first and kept sending voice messages to Gao Buyin. What are Little Bean and Buyuan talking about? They're so excited. Oh, they're addicted to a game that tests IQ. They compete against each other with experience points. If they lose, they'll get red packets. I didn't know such a game existed. Why don't you play it? Su Yu looked at Pudding in puzzlement. Because I have no opponents, Pudding replied in a domineering tone. Su Yu gave her a thumbs up. I, Pudding, am domineering. You must be lonely without opponents. Do you want me to play around with you? No, you might as well send me a red packet. It's a waste of time. By the way, I might not lose. Su Yu wasn't convinced. But you definitely won't win. Don't mess around. When I was in school, I was also a straight-A student. Later, your Lord Su made me join the army, so I gave up my studies. But you're still no match for me, Pudding explained to Su Yu helplessly. Hey, Pudding, the more you say that, the more I refuse to accept it. Let's have a battle, how about it? All right, I'll fulfill your wish of being hung up and beaten. Su Yu, what are you talking about? I think my strength is at least on par with yours. Su Yu was eager to give it a try. In the end, Pudding fulfilled Su Yu's wish to be tortured. It was supposed to be a best of 3, but in the end, Su Yu fled in defeat after one round. He took the initiative to send Pudding a red packet of 8,888 yuan. The reason was simple. There were 10 questions in one round, and Su Yu only got one right. It wasn't because he really knew the question, but because he guessed it. In the next 2 rounds, Su Yu gave up. In Pudding's words, even if he did, he would be beaten by Pudding. Therefore, the two continued to walk to the car. Pudding suddenly stood there and didn't move. What's wrong? Su Yu felt that something was wrong. Handsome Su, have you been in contact with my mommy recently? As expected of father and daughter. They have such tacit understanding that they both ask the same question. Thinking of the question Qin Chu asked him during the day, Su Yu blurted out. Did my daddy ask you the same question? Pudding was shocked. Chapter 4180. Yeah, your dad asked me when we were having lunch today. Su Yu didn't seem to know what was going on at all. Oh, Pudding nodded thoughtfully. What's wrong? What's wrong with your mommy? Nothing, I just feel like mommy isn't very happy. Pudding decided not to tell Su Yu about it. After all, she didn't understand it yet. However, from what Su Yu said, did her daddy notice it? Pudding felt her little heart pounding. Of course she's unhappy. Your mommy has just gone through such a big thing. You guys should be more tolerant and treat her like a child. Su Yu felt that no matter how pretentious Huamin was, it was reasonable. With Huamin's current mood and state, even if she did something overboard, she could be forgiven. After all, she had suffered so much and even lost a child. Pudding nodded and didn't say anything else. She got into the car. Su Yu drove the twins back to South Hill Manor. He wanted to leave immediately. When they arrived at the door, Su Yu didn't go in. However, he saw Huamin walk out from afar. Huamian took the initiative to walk out again, wearing very thin clothes. She was only wearing a beige windbreaker, and she looked delicate and lovely. You guys go in first. I want to talk to Uncle Su, Huamin said. Okay, Mommy. Pudding glanced at her mommy warily and then looked at Su Yu. She sent a WeChat message to her daddy. Daddy, we're back from dinner at Grandma Su's house. Don't worry. Uncle Su drove us back. We're home now, but Mommy seems to have something to talk to Uncle Sue about. They're at the door. Pudding's WeChat message was definitely a lot of information. Chin Chu immediately understood what he meant. Pudding was rarely so nosy in the past, nor would she voluntarily report her whereabouts. Therefore, Chin Chu immediately drove back. Min. When Suyu saw Huamin, he was as happy as ever. Talk to me, I'm in a bad mood. Okay, then get in the car and tell me. It's too cold outside. Suyu quickly opened the car door, and Huamin got in. Chin Chu's mother saw Suyu's car parked outside. She saw the two children walk in and Huamin walk out. At first, he didn't think too much about it. However, after thinking about it, he felt that he still had to complain. His father. What's wrong? Mr. Chin raised his head. Mian seems to be seeing Suyu a lot lately. Isn't that normal? They are very good friends. Mr. Chin didn't think that there was anything wrong. But what can't they say on the phone or WeChat? It's so cold, I saw Mian put on a windbreaker and run out. Her car is parked at the entrance of our neighborhood. They should be in the car. Mama Chin sounded a little unhappy. She seemed to think that this wasn't something Huamin should do. You're thinking too much. It's in front of our house. Doesn't that mean that there's nothing going on between them? Don't think too much. Mian doesn't have it easy. Chu and her have been in a bad situation recently. As parents, we have to protect them and not destroy them. I'm not destroying them. I'm just complaining to you. I think that Mian is such a sensible child and shouldn't do something so impolite. Chin Chu's mother felt a little uncomfortable. Last time, she saw Huamin talking to Suyu at the door. This was the second time. Especially when she saw Huamin rush out when he heard that Suyu was at the door. It made her feel vaguely uneasy. Don't tell Chu when he comes back, Mr. Chin warned Mama Chin. Chapter 4181. Don't worry. I'm not senile yet. I won't tell Chu about this. Mama Chin knew that her son was tired and didn't want to distract him with family matters. Then, Mama Chin still didn't give up. She stood at the window of the living room and looked out. In fact, at such a distance, she couldn't see anything other than Suyu's car. Inside the Audi A8L, Suyu deliberately turned up the heater in the car so that Huamin, who was wearing thin clothes, would be warmer. Suyu, you met with my husband today? Huamin pretended to ask casually. Yeah, we had lunch together. Didn't you see it on WeChat Moments? Suyu was still wondering why Huamin asked when he already knew the answer. Did he invite you? Yeah. Then this guy ran away and didn't pay the bill. He cheated me. Suyu laughed. Then, did Chin Chu say anything to you? Huamin asked. No, we were just chatting. He's always been a man of few words. Don't mention how awkward it was for us. If I had known, I would have brought Master in, Suyu complained about Chin Chu. That shouldn't be. With my husband's personality, he must have something to ask you if he took the initiative to have lunch with you. Huamin obviously didn't believe him. Oh right. I remember that matter. It's about when we were going to pick up our savior. I told Chin Chu about it and Chin Chu said he would handle it. Other than that, did he say anything else to you? No. What's wrong? Did something happen between you two again? No. I'm just curious. Seeing that Suyu was a little suspicious, Huamin didn't ask further. Suyu didn't say anything. He didn't think it was strange that Chin Chu asked him to have a meal. On the contrary, he felt that Chin Chu was looking for him to ease the tension between them and make things less awkward. Therefore, he did not mention to Huamin that Chin Chu had asked him about the explosion that day. The two of them were chatting. Chin Chu's Bentley came back. He parked it directly beside Suyu's car. Then, he got off the car. Chin Chu is back? It was clear from the rearview mirror that Suyu stood up, opened the door and walked out. Huamin also got out of the car with an ugly expression on his face. What are you talking about? Chin Chu looked at the two of them and asked casually, without any emotion. Talking about how to elope with Suyu? Huamin joked. Suyu was shocked. He felt that Huamin's joke was a little too much. Ahem. Dr. Hua, I can't take the blame for this. Kidnapping someone's wife is a big taboo. If people expose it on Weibo, I'll be hammered to death. So, please don't joke like this. Why are you so nervous? I'm just teasing my husband. Huamin looked at Qin Chu and smiled. Mian, you've been letting yourself go lately? You're becoming less and less like yourself. Do you like me like this? Huamin stared at Qin Chu with a smile in his eyes. Do you want to hear the truth? Qin Chu's lips curled up coldly. Of course. Huamin didn't know if he was acting coquettishly or provocatively. Anyway, Su Yu, an outsider, felt that the atmosphere was a little strange and awkward. The truth is, I really don't like you like this. Qin Chu didn't give him face and replied directly. Huamin's expression changed slightly upon hearing this. It seemed that he didn't expect Qin Chu to be so merciless. Ahem, why don't you two go home and joke around? I have something to do, so I won't disturb you. I'm leaving now. Su Yu felt that the atmosphere between the couple was weird, and he felt uncomfortable listening to it. So, he found an excuse to leave. Su Yu, let's have dinner together tomorrow? Huamin deliberately shouted in front of Qin Chu. Your husband is treating tomorrow, I'll come. After Su Yu finished speaking, he got into the car, started the engine and drove off. Watching the Audi A8L leave, Qin Chu glanced at Huamin. In a voice that was almost devoid of any warmth, he asked her, What on earth do you want? He directly used the word you, and didn't say Mian, because he knew that this cunning woman wasn't Mian, nor did she deserve to be Mian. Chapter 4182. Honey, what's wrong? Are you jealous? Huamin asked even though she knew the answer. Even her smile had a hint of hypocrisy. Didn't you say those things to Su Yu on purpose for me to see? Isn't it normal for me to eat with Su Yu? I've eaten a lot these past few years. When you were in the States, I had to eat with Su Yu almost every day. Is there a problem? Huamin obviously said these words to anger Qin Chu. Do you think it's fun to do this? Qin Chu's eyes were filled with disappointment. This was the only way to make Layla believe that Qin Chu was really disappointed in Huamin and not doubting her an imposter. What else can I do? My own husband is ignoring me. Can't I go to another man for some comfort? Do whatever you want. In the end, Qin Chu sneered and chuckled at Huamin. This chuckle annoyed Huamin. She angrily turned around and followed Qin Chu, grabbing his arm. However, Qin Chu brushed her hand away without hesitation. He didn't give her any face, let alone treat her gently. Because he hated the way this woman was touching his body. Qin Chu, do you not want to live with me anymore? Then let's get a divorce. Divorce? Don't even think about it. Just live like this. Qin Chu said this and walked straight into the house. Huamin was actually a little angry behind him. Although she wasn't the real Huamin, she was deeply immersed in the role, so Qin Chu's reaction really made her feel despair for a moment. She originally thought that Qin Chu would take care of her like how he took care of Huamin in the past. It seemed that the master was right. Men were indeed unreliable, even an excellent man like Qin Chu couldn't be trusted. Qin Chu and Huamin came back one after another. Mama Qin saw this and felt bad. During dinner, Qin Chu didn't eat and went straight to the study. Mama Qin felt sorry for her son. She scooped out a portion of dinner and personally carried the plate to the study. Chu! Mom, why are you here? Qin Chu rubbed his temples. In fact, there was nothing to be busy with. It was just that he had a headache when he saw that woman. To ensure the safety of the family, he even installed many pinhole cameras and was prepared to monitor her 24/7. You haven't been in the past few days. Are you busy with work? Mrs. Qin placed the dinner on the table and pointed at the soup. I made pork bone soup. It's delicious. Drink it while it's hot. Thank you, Mom. Qin Chu was relieved that his mother cared about him at a time like this. He tiredly picked up the bowl of soup and sipped it. Chu, what's wrong with you and Mian recently? Did you fight? No, Qin Chu denied. Chu, Mian has done a lot for our family. Don't fight with her. Even if she's a little willful, you have to bear with it. It'll be fine when she's in a better mood. This family can't fall apart, Mama Qin tried to persuade him. Hearing his mother's words, Qin Chu smiled bitterly. No, how can the family fall apart? I'll always be true to Mion. That's good. Then you should communicate with Mion more and spend more time with her. Okay. Chin Chu agreed immediately. After Mama Chin went downstairs, Chin Chu looked at the bug planted somewhere in the study and smiled. At the dinner table downstairs, Layla's ear was bugged and she clearly heard the conversation between Chin Chu and Mama Chin. It seemed that she was overthinking. Chin Chu didn't suspect her. Otherwise, why would he say that he would always be true to Mion? Chapter 4183. Unfortunately, Chin Chu was telling the truth, but he was only saying it to Mion. And Layla wasn't Mion, so, during the fight with Chin Chu, the two of them had a hard time eavesdropping and counter-eavesdropping. At the dinner table, Little Bean looked at her mommy. Mommy, did you and Daddy fight? No, baby. Why do you ask? Huamin looked at Little Bean with a smile. I feel like Daddy isn't eating at the table anymore. Grandma has to bring him food. What's wrong with you two? It's nothing. Your daddy is too busy. Huamin didn't say much. Little Bean was innocent. Seeing that her mommy didn't say anything, she didn't ask. However, Little Bean felt that her mommy's smile was a little fake, especially when she smiled gently and kindly. In fact, if one looked closely at those micro-expressions, they were very unnatural. There was even a hint of strangeness in them. Little Bean lowered her head silently and ate in silence. She didn't participate in the conversation. Little Bean, how are you doing in the stock market recently? Pretty good, Little Bean answered Huamin. I heard that the Huaxiqian Corporation's mess has been saved by you. Unfortunately, Huaxiqian is dead. Otherwise, if he saw it, he wouldn't know how ashamed he would be. He's not even as good as a child. Perhaps he was too proud, but his tone really didn't sound like Huamin. With Huamin's personality, he would never say such exaggerated words. Little Bean couldn't help but look at her mommy. Mommy, although Huaxiqian is a big bad guy, he died to save Mommy and Handsome Sue. As the saying goes, the dead are the most important. Let's not talk about this person anymore. Baby, you're right. Let's not talk about this big bad guy. Hearing Little Bean's words, Huamin didn't say anything else. They didn't have a good time at dinner. Everyone knew that the atmosphere at home was different, so after dinner, the twins played with their grandparents in the living room. Huamin knew that Chin Chu didn't want to see her now, so she didn't go to the study to pick a fight. Instead, he leaned on the wide bed and played with WeChat. The next day after Chin Chu went to work, Huamin went straight to the headquarters of Imperial Star. When Huamin came to Suyu, Han Yueao was joking with Suyu in the office. They were laughing happily when Huamin pushed the door open and walked in, startling Han Yueao. Sister Mian, Han Yueao greeted him immediately. What are you talking about? Huamin looked at her with complicated emotions in his eyes. I'm just reporting to President Su about my schedule for the next week. Oh, Mian, why are you here? To be honest, Suyu wasn't used to seeing Huamin so often. After all, Huamin was a busy man who was either at the hospital or at home. If Suyu wanted to meet her, he had to find an excuse first. Well, can't I come to see you? Huamin asked Suyu. Of course not. What are you talking about? Suyu chuckled. I missed you, so I came to see you, Huamin said directly. His words made Han Yueao and Suyu's expressions change subtly. Huamian didn't seem like someone who would say something so straightforward. Therefore, when she said, I miss you, it was really complicated. Han Yueao couldn't figure out Huamin's thoughts. What was his purpose? Suyu was dumbfounded and didn't know what to say. Ahem. Dr. Hua, stop it. I'm not used to your words. Suyu coughed awkwardly. What? You don't want to see me? If you don't, I'll leave now. Chapter 4184. Seeing that Huamin was really going to leave, Suyu immediately stood up to stop him. No. Who dares to mess with our Dr. Hua? Sister Mian, are you feeling better? Han Yueao immediately tried to smooth things over for Suyu and changed the topic. Yes, I'm fine. Haven't you noticed that I've been free recently? Huamin chuckled. That's good. Han Yueyao nodded. Seeing that Han Yueyao had no intention of leaving, Huamin purposely said to Su Yu, "Yes. Didn't you say you were going to treat me to dinner? Do you still want to go? I didn't eat well at home this morning." Su Yu froze and glanced at his watch. "But it's only 10 a.m. Isn't it a bit early?" "Then why don't you go shopping with me first?" Su Yu glanced at Han Yueyao. "Do you want to have dinner together?" In fact, Su Yu's plan was simple. If Han Yueyao went, there would be 3 of them and no gossip would spread. After all, it wasn't good for her to be alone with Huamin. Although she knew it wasn't a big deal, it wouldn't sound good. Han Yueyao was hesitating whether she should go or not. Huamin said to Su Yu, "You're putting Yao in a difficult position. She's very dedicated and has so much work to do. How can she? Do you think everyone is a foodie like me?" "You guys go ahead. I'll go back to work. President Su, I'll talk to you about the show later." Seeing Huamin's obvious intention, Han Yueyao hurriedly said goodbye. Su Yu nodded and had to let Han Yueyao go first. Then Su Yu took Huamin to eat. If it was in the past, Su Yu would have taken Huamin shopping and bought her some gifts. But now, the relationship between Qin Chu and Huamin was so tense. He didn't want to add to the mess. With this idea in mind, Qin Chu directly took Huamin to a well-known Japanese restaurant. The 2 of them ate exquisite Japanese food in a small private room. What Su Yu did not expect was that not only did Huamin not keep a low profile, he even took a picture and deliberately posted it on his WeChat moments. She posted 3 pictures. The first one was a selfie with a beautiful angle. Perhaps it was the power of the Meitu software, but the photos taken were indeed very beautiful. However, they didn't look like Huamin at all. The second table was filled with food for 2 people. Sashimi platter, raw beef, California rolls, tuna sushi, prawn tempura, pufferbone ramen, you name it. The third picture was also the most important one. Huamin had secretly taken a picture of Su Yu eating. Although his head was lowered, he could still recognize Su Yu at a glance. After all, his side profile was also unbelievably handsome. Moreover, he was wearing a white long-sleeved shirt. Under the light, the color of his hair was a little light. There was no problem with the angle at all. Could be said to be perfect. The funny thing was that when the picture was taken, there was a chandelier behind Su Yu that coincided with him. Therefore, the whole picture looked as if the chandelier had grown directly on Su Yu's head. Huamin attached the picture and wrote, "The weather is very good today. The Teletubbies treated me to Japanese food. I'm crazy about his perfect performance." After a while, the comments under Huamin's post became lively. "Zhu Lingling, fuck shameless little bitch. You're eating good food without me." Jiang Xiaowei, "Dr. Hua, how does it feel to eat food alone?" Tang Chuan, "Fuck, you 2 are having sex." Wei Liao, "Awesome." Han Yueyao silently liked the post. Little Bean, "Mommy, why don't you take me and my sister to eat with handsome Su?" Pudding didn't like the post or leave a comment, feeling a little upset. Most importantly, Qin Chu only glanced at it coldly and put it down. He wouldn't be angry or jealous. After all, it wasn't the real Huamian. Qin Ning, "Sis-in-law, does my brother know that you're eating with Lord Su so openly?" Chapter 4185. Everyone knew that Qin Ning's words were meant to be a joke. However, Huamin took it a little too seriously. He replied to Qin Ning privately, "Your brother doesn't care who I'm eating with anymore, as long as it's not him." After reading this comment, Qin Ning didn't react for a long time. She and Tang Chuan were waiting for their flight at the airport. After celebrating her father's birthday, they would fly back to China. "Tang Chuan, come here." Qin Ning gestured for Tang Chuan to come over. Tang Chuan ran over with 2 cups of Starbucks in his hands. To him, Qin Ning's call was like an imperial edict. "What's the matter, little ancestor? Look at this sentence." Qin Ning pointed at her phone. "I see it. How do you feel after reading it?" "Feel it." Sister-in-law and brother-in-law had a fight? As expected, even Tang Chuan, who didn't have a high EQ. He could tell that something was wrong. "Don't you think that after sister-in-law came back this time, she and my brother felt weird? I didn't really talk to them. Didn't they say that they would let sister-in-law rest first? I didn't talk to them too much. But Lord Su is more depressed than before. After all, he feels guilty. Strange. When I get back, I'll talk to sister-in-law and see what's going on. Qin Ning didn't reply to Huamin, but she took this matter to heart. While Huamin and Su Yu were eating, her phone rang. It was a message notification in the WeChat group. It turned out to be Jiang Xiaowei, Zhu Lingling, and her 3 friends. Jiang Xiaowei, Mian, let's have dinner together tonight. Zhu Lingling, yeah, the 3 of us haven't gotten together in a long time. Mian, are you feeling better? Can we eat seafood? Huamin glanced at her indifferently. I have something to do tonight, so I won't be able to go. Jiang Xiaowei, okay, let's meet another day. Zhu Lingling, okay, let me know when the time comes. Huamin did not reply. Jiang Xiaowei vaguely felt that after Huamin came back, she and Zhu Lingling were obviously estranged. Was it because Huamin hadn't adjusted his mentality or something else? Qin Chu's office Jixin suddenly rushed in. Brother-in-law, what happened? My mom fainted. She's at the hospital. Jixin was panting heavily. It was obvious that he had run all the way here. How could this be? I don't know. The hospital called. I'll go take a look. I'll go with you. Qin Chu put down the things he was doing. Recently, everything had really come together. Bella was unconscious, and Jingda had mysteriously disappeared. Yang Meng suddenly fainted while taking care of Bella in the hospital. Perhaps the old lady had too much on her mind, and the blow was too great. Especially when Jingda suddenly disappeared. The old lady's mood of regaining what she had lost was completely shattered. She was afraid that Jingda would never come back. But how could Qin Chu dare to tell his mother-in-law that Jingda was an imposter and a monster? It was better to treat it as a missing person and leave her with something to remember. On the way to the hospital, Qin Chu drove, and Jixin sat in the passenger seat. Brother-in-law, is there any news about my dad? Did you ask Brother Gao Ran? Jixin still had hope for Jingda. No news. Brother-in-law, should we tell my sister about this? Jixin panicked. No need to tell her. In Qin Chu's opinion, it was better for his mother-in-law to stay away from this impostor as much as possible. Otherwise, it would only be more dangerous. What if something happens to my mom and my sister can't see it? Will she blame us? Chapter 4186. Jixin was a little pessimistic. She'll be fine, trust me. Qin Chu was full of confidence and was determined not to tell Huamin. The 2 of them drove all the way to the first hospital. Yang Meirong had already recovered. The attending doctor walked out and said unobjectively, Ms. Yang's heart isn't good, her blood pressure is very high, and she can't stand external stimuli. She might have been too emotional recently and fainted. She's not suitable to take care of people here. I suggest you let her stay in the hospital for a few days for observation to stabilize. Where's my mother-in-law? Qin Chu asked the doctor. She's in the intensive care unit. You can go and see her, but don't take too long. Prepare to give her a sedative later and let her sleep a little longer. Qin Chu nodded and walked in with Jixin. As soon as he entered, he saw Yang Meirong lying on the hospital bed with a haggard face. Qin Chu was very sad. If his Mian came back one day, she would be very sad to see that he didn't take good care of her mother. Qin Chu silently adjusted his emotions. Then he walked in, and Jixin followed behind him, secretly crying. It had only been a few days, but the family had suffered a series of blows. First, Bella was attacked and fell into a coma. Then, Jingda disappeared for no reason, or rather, he left without saying goodbye. Now, his mother couldn't take the blow and fell ill. For Jixin, he couldn't take so many heavy blows at once. So, he lost the ability to deal with things and only knew how to cry. Mom? Qin Chu walked over to the hospital bed. Chu, you're here. Yang Meirong looked at Jixin, who was crying behind Qin Chu. She waved her hand. Brat, don't cry. I'm not dead. Mum, don't talk nonsense. You'll live a long life. I haven't been filial enough to you. Jixin choked with sobs. I'm fine. I just haven't rested well recently. Don't worry. Send someone to take care of Bella. What if she wakes up and is thirsty or hungry? Yang Meirong was famous for her sharp tongue but soft heart. She really loved Bella. Mom, don't worry. I've already arranged for 24-hour care. There will be 3 groups of professional nurses taking turns to look after Bella. Qin Chu reached out and held his mother-in-law's hand to comfort her. Is there any news about your Uncle Jing? Finally, this question was asked. Qin Chu felt sad. He had killed the fake Jingde with his own hands. Now, facing his mother-in-law's accusation, he didn't have the heart to say it. There's no news yet? Uncle Jing might have run away on his own. Maybe he's in a mess, so he ran away from home. Don't worry, maybe he'll come back soon. I think so too. He's such an honest person. I'm just afraid that he'll be cheated and bullied outside. Mom, Dad won't do that. He's an adult and can take care of himself. You're the one who needs to worry about yourself. You have to take care of yourself, Zhixin said as he walked up to her and cried. I'm fine. It's just a small problem. Where's your sister? My sister doesn't know yet. My brother-in-law won't let her tell you. Okay, Chu, you're right. Don't tell me on. It's an old problem of mine. Don't make her worry, okay? Zhixin nodded. I miss my granddaughters. Yang Meirong's voice was weak. Pudding and Little Bean, they make me happy. I'll bring them over after school. Chu, my daughter has had a hard life. She hasn't enjoyed much in these years. If one day I'm gone, she won't even have a family. She'll be so pitiful. You have to take good care of her. Yang Meirong's words sounded like her last words. Qin Chu's heart was in turmoil. Chapter 4187. Mom, don't say that. You'll get better. It's not a big deal. I'm a medical student, so I know it best. Bella will wake up for sure. Qin Chu had always been a man of few words and didn't know how to comfort people. However, when he heard his mother-in-law's words, he almost cried. I'll listen to you. I'll rest well. After a long time of coaxing, Yang Myung finally fell asleep. Zhixin, you don't have to go to the company for a while. Brother-in-law, will you be able to handle it? After Bella fell into a coma, the company was already very busy. If Zhixin didn't go, it was hard to imagine how busy Qin Chu would be. It's okay. Ning and the others will probably arrive in China tomorrow. I'll ask Ning to help. Okay. Then I'll stay in the hospital to take care of my mom and wife. Just take care of our family. Don't worry about anything else, Qin Chu instructed. I'll listen to you, brother-in-law. Also, don't talk to your sister for a while. Zhixin was confused. Why couldn't he talk to his sister? Your sister and I have some private matters to deal with. She probably won't come for a while. If she comes to you, just brush her off. It's best if you don't meet her. All right then, you guys take it easy. Zhixin didn't know what they were up to, but he trusted Qin Chu 100%, so he nodded and agreed to do what they said. At the headquarters of Lu Yan's mercenary group, ever since Xiao Fei came, he hadn't slept well. In other words, he hadn't had a good night's sleep since Lu Yan disappeared. Those who stayed with him almost went all over the world to look for Lu Yan. When they heard about someone who looked like Lu Yan, they immediately went to check. However, after so long, there was still no news of her. This made Xiao Fei feel more and more uneasy. Young Master Xiao. What's up? Look who's here. Lu Yan's subordinates were now Xiao Fei's subordinates. He walked in with a man to Xiao Fei's office. The man was dressed very plainly and wore a sun hat. He looked like an ordinary old man. But the moment the old man took off his hat, Xiao Fei was shocked. Uncle? Lu. Seeing the professor, Xiao Fei was extremely excited. Over the years, whether it was the rumors from the outside world or what he had seen with his own eyes, Professor Lu was the most powerful person Xiao Fei had ever met. The reason why he was said to be amazing was because his profound medical skills could bring people back from the dead. Even Lu Yan couldn't compare to her dad in terms of intelligence and scientific research. Sit, little Fei. Uncle Lu, I've been looking for you for a long time. Yeah, I was targeted a few days ago. I blocked my signal for a long time. Then I heard that you took over Yan's mercenary group, so I came here. Uncle Lu, I'm not trying to monopolize you. Xiao Fei seemed to want to explain to Professor Lu that he didn't do it for the sake of taking over Lu Yan's hard work as the rumor said. There's no need to say more. I've watched you grow up since you were a child. I know better than anyone what kind of person you are. Xiao Fei was comforted by Professor Lu's high praise and trust. Let's go into the secret room and have a chat. Then, Professor Lu opened the door to the secret room. This was a place full of anti-eavesdropping devices that no hacker could crack. Obviously, the conversation between Professor Lu and Xiao Fei would be too confidential. He didn't want a third person to hear it. Chapter 4188. They entered the secret room one after the other. Then Professor Lu closed the door behind them. The secret room was only 40 square meters in size. However, the decoration was extremely luxurious. It was a bit like a traditional Chinese tea house, with an antique flavor. The tea table was made of rosewood from Hainan. Professor Lu sat down and Xiao Fei sat across from him. You still haven't heard from Yan, right? Professor Lu nodded. Uncle Lu, do you know where Yan is? I know she's not dead. Xiao Fei was afraid to hear bad news about Lu Yan from Professor Lu. Don't worry. That girl is very lucky and won't die. I might know who has her. Professor Lu lowered his head and said slowly. Who? Xiao Fei stood up in excitement. He wanted to rescue her immediately. No matter who had her, even if she was in space, he would bring her back. That was Xiao Fei's determination. Sit down first, little Fei. Listen to me. Professor Lu waved his hand to calm Xiao Fei down. About 10 seconds later, the professor said word by word, I think Yan might be in Linya's hands. Linya? Hearing this name, Xiao Fei felt that it was very familiar, but he didn't have time to think. Before he could think about it, Professor Lu said, Linya is my wife, Yan and Mion's mother. Xiao Fei was stunned. He remembered that he had heard the name Linya from Lu Yan. Lu Yan went to Iceland almost every year and kept her whereabouts a secret. She didn't even go into the cave when she went to Iceland, afraid that someone would find her and destroy her mother's ice coffin. So, she traveled over mountains and rivers just to see the cave from afar as if she was seeing her mother. In Lu Yan's heart, the name Linya was sacred. It was obvious that Lu Yan loved her mother very much. When there were no photos of Linya in the world, Lu Yan had a sketch of her. This was Lu Yan's secret and the biggest secret that Xiao Fei knew. No matter how powerful Lu Yan was, she was still a little girl, especially in front of her parents. A child who lost his mother at a young age would have a severe sense of insecurity, unlike Huamin. Huamin grew up with his adoptive mother and even lived with his stepfather for a few years. Therefore, Huamin did not lack much parental love. Lu Yan, on the other hand, had been on the run with Professor Lu since she was a little girl. Then, her mother wasn't by her side. When she got her first period, she felt helpless and panicked. He even thought that he was injured. Otherwise, how could there be so much blood? That feeling of ignorance and confusion was something that no emotion could make up for. So, both Professor Lu and Xiao Fei knew how important Linya was to Lu Yan. Uncle Lu, but Auntie Linya, many years ago. Xiao Fei didn't say it clearly, but Professor Lu knew what he meant. Yes, when Linya was injured, I treated her. She was in a state of brain death. I couldn't accept it, so I've been freezing her in an ice coffin all these years. All these years, I've been looking for a way to bring her back to life, but I failed. Then how did she? The more Xiao Fei listened, the more confused he became. Since Uncle Lu couldn't find a way to bring Linya back to life, how did she kidnap Lu Yan? Was she a ghost? Chapter 4189. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I have a feeling that Linya might have woken up, although I don't know how she did it. Professor Lu and Linya had been together for many years and had a subtle telepathy. However, Xiao Fei was completely confused. Uncle Lu, you and Auntie Linya are husband and wife. If she wakes up, shouldn't she come to you immediately? Why did you take Yen away? Why didn't you let her contact us? Maybe she was coerced. You don't understand how complicated our circle is. Although Professor Lu and Dr. Linya had the highest honor. However, he was indeed targeted by many ambitious people, but Professor Lu wasn't going to hide from those people. What do we need to do now? Send your people to continue the search. I'll give you a few places where I think Linya might appear. Let me know as soon as you have any news. I have a feeling that Linya will contact me. Professor Lu guessed. Uncle Lu, about Sister Mian, don't contact Mian. Otherwise, it will get more and more chaotic. I don't want her to get involved. Professor Lu thought his daughter was safe and didn't want Huamin to get involved in such a complicated matter, but she was all ready. But brother-in-law has been trying to contact you. I can't contact him. His communication network is being monitored. I don't know who did it. I have to be careful. So powerful? Xiao Fei felt the situation was getting more and more complicated. Fortunately, Professor Lu was here. He had a feeling that there would be news of Yen soon. In the underwater palace on the other side of the earth, faced with Huamin's question, Linya remained silent. Huamin's question was so sharp that she couldn't figure it out even if she racked her brains. Mother, why did she want to clone herself? What was her purpose? But obviously, Linya had no intention of answering. Mia, you'll be here for a long time. I'll explain it to you slowly. Don't worry. No, I need to go home. Huamin stood up and was about to leave with his big belly. Mian, do you still need to go back to that house? Layla has completely replaced you. No one noticed that you're missing, no one. Linya's voice was very clear. Huamin definitely felt uncomfortable when he heard it. She knew Layla's strength, and she also knew how similar Layla was to her. No, my daughter, my husband. They'll recognize me. Take a look at this. Linya waved her hand, and an image appeared on the white wall. Qin Chu and Huamin were having breakfast with the two kids. It was a harmonious scene. Huamin felt a slight pain in his heart. After the explosion, no one remembers you. Their Huamin has gone back. Look, the man you've trusted and loved for so many years is just like that. He can't recognize you. He even slept with Layla. Your man betrayed you, physically and mentally. He betrayed you. Shut up. Huamin turned around with red eyes and glared at Linya. His voice was a little hoarse. Qin Chu won't do that. He's not that kind of person. I don't believe he'll touch Layla. Then take a look at this. Linya smiled strangely. She changed the image again. Chapter 4190. Linya specially chose some photos that Layla sent back. In them, Layla was about to hug Qin Chu, but she couldn't tell what Qin Chu's emotions were. However, from the photos alone, the scene was indeed ambiguous. Are you trying to fool me with photoshopped photos? Huamin sneered. You're an expert hacker yourself. You should know if these are photoshopped. Mia, stop lying to yourself. Those ordinary people don't deserve you. Stay with mommy. Stay with mommy. I really don't understand. Are you my biological mother? Huamian held her belly as tears rolled down her cheeks. Other mothers do what's best for their children. They want their daughters to be happy. But you keep saying that you're my mother, but what did you do? You created a monster that looks exactly like me. Then, you let that monster replace me and sneak into my beloved home to confuse my family. You watched me suffer. You don't deserve to be my mother. You're not even 1/10,000th of my adoptive mother. Linya, if you're really Linya, I can only say that Dad was blind to fall in love with such a terrifying person like you. Huamin scolded Linya. She was such a gentle person and was a good child who respected her adoptive mother and mother-in-law. Now, she was scolding her biological mother. It was obvious that Linya had forced her into a corner. The thought of that monster facing her family in her own home made her feel heartbroken. Huamin's heart ached. It wasn't because he was worried that the woman would sleep in the same bed as Qin Chu. More importantly, she might hurt her two daughters at any time. That was what Huamin was most worried about. It's okay if you don't understand now. When you slowly understand my painstaking efforts, you'll know how I feel. I don't blame you, Mian. Mommy doesn't blame you. Surprisingly, Linya didn't get angry. Instead, she looked at Huamin lovingly. She looked like the Virgin Mary, which made Huamin want to vomit. Huamin glared at Linya. Don't ever call me mom. You don't deserve it. Messiah. My lord. Take her to rest. Yes. Miss Mian, let's go. Huamin knew that Linya would not tell her the truth in such a short time. Therefore, no matter how much she asked, she couldn't get an answer. It was better to recuperate and slowly think of a way to escape. At the very least, she had to protect the little guy in her belly first. Then she would think of a way to escape, go home, and see her beloved family. On the way back, Huamin did not say a word. He was in low spirits. Miss Mian, please don't talk back to the master in the future. All these years, I've never seen anyone who dared to talk to her like that. Or rather, to be able to survive after being so presumptuous. If it wasn't for her love for you, perhaps you would have already. Messiah didn't finish her sentence, but Huamin knew what she was going to say. He had talked back to that woman just now, but he was still safe and sound. He wondered if he was lucky to escape. Messiah, Layla is also a clone. She created her, right? Huamin had roughly guessed the origin of Layla, who looked exactly like him, from Linya in the cave. Yes, Miss Layla was cloned exactly like Miss Huamin. She used Miss Huamin's cells, so you're closer than twins. You can say that she's the second you, Messiah said word by word. Chapter 4191. But what's the point of her creating this monster? Huamin's face was cold the whole time. This was the most shocking thing she had ever seen in her life. A person who claimed to be her biological mother. She had personally created a monster that looked exactly like her, and then, she conspired with this monster to destroy her family. Actually, at this point, Messiah seemed to want to say something but stopped. Huamin knew that she was just a maid and didn't want to make things difficult for her. Messiah, I won't force you to say it. I understand your difficulties. She lowered her voice and whispered to Messiah. I actually saw Master create Miss Layla with my own eyes. In fact, you might not believe it even if I tell you. Master created Miss Layla many years ago on your birthday night. Master couldn't suppress her longing for her daughter, so she created Miss Layla. At first, she just wanted an identical daughter to accompany her. Later, obviously, Messiah didn't dare to say what happened later. What did Linya want to do? What was her purpose? There must be a huge conspiracy behind it. However, Huamin felt that Messiah was telling the truth. She missed me. Why didn't she come to me? Why did she create a monster? I don't understand this logic. That's because she couldn't find you. Like your father, as parents, they all want you to live a peaceful and happy life. If that's the case, why did you disturb me now and ask that monster to replace me? Huamin suppressed the anger in his heart and confronted Messiah. That's because a wish of Master's all these years is about to come true. A grand plan. A grand plan? Huamin felt that his guess was right. She created a clone of Linya and went to her father's side. Then, she hid in this underwater palace for so many years. It definitely wasn't to cultivate Buddhism. She must be plotting something. But what exactly is she plotting? Huamin couldn't figure it out and felt that his brain capacity wasn't enough. Messiah. Since she wanted me and created my clone, what about Yen? Does she have one too? Could there be someone who looks exactly like Xiao Yen? Huamin didn't even dare to think about it. Yen herself was already very powerful. If she had a clone, then what would she become? Miss Yen doesn't have a clone, because she isn't the Lord's daughter. What are you talking about? Messiah. Yen is my sister. How can she not be Linya's daughter? I don't think Master told you that, Miss Yen. She's just your half-sister, same father but different mothers? How could this be? Messiah, you're not joking with me, are you? Huamin was in disbelief. Your subordinate doesn't dare to joke. These are all true, Messiah said very seriously. But Huamin just couldn't figure it out. But that's not right. What half-father? Could it be that Dad had other wives? That's not right. This doesn't make sense. This conflicted with all of Huomin's previous hostages. Just as he was wondering, Huomin suddenly had a flash of inspiration and a terrifying thought struck him. She nervously and excitedly held Messiah's hand. Messiah? Do you mean my sister Lu Yen is the daughter of Lin Ye's clone? Seeing that Huomin had finally figured it out, Messiah nodded slightly. Huomin felt like his head was about to explode. How many years had that clone Lin Ye lived with Dad? How could a genius like Dad not realize that it was fake? And he even had Yen with the clone? Then, would Qin Chu not be able to recognize Layla in the end and have a child with that monster? After this thought came to him, Huomin felt his entire body turn cold. He didn't dare to think about it anymore. Chapter 4192. At the Shen family mansion. Wei Ying and Shen Mingxi returned from the business banquet. They drove only one car, which was Wei Ying's black Porsche Panamera. Shen Mingxi was drunk, so he sat in the front passenger seat. He put his hand on Wei Ying's thigh from time to time, looking very heartwarming. After remarrying Wei Ying, Shen Mingxi worked harder and didn't rely on the Wei family. Instead, he built up the Shen family, which was on the verge of bankruptcy. Although he was busy with his business, it didn't affect his time with Wei Ying. Sure enough, as time went by, the last one was always the best. Shen Mingxi gradually realized this and cherished the time he spent with Wei Ying more than ever. Honey, are you tired? I'll drive for a while. No, we'll be home in a few minutes. You drank too much and it's dangerous. I'll drive. Wei Ying smiled. After they got out of the car, Shen Mingxi took off his jacket and wrapped it around Wei Ying. It's really not necessary. Is it that cold? You'd better wear more. Look at the short sleeves of your suit. Your arms are exposed. They're 3/4 sleeves, Wei Ying explained, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Let's go in. I asked Auntie Wu to make some white fungus lotus seeds. Drink it while it's hot. Wei Ying was wrapped in Shen Mingxi's arms sweetly as the couple walked into the mansion. The housemaid placed 2 bowls of white fungus lotus seeds on the coffee table in the living room. Shen Mingxi picked up the remote control and switched to the finance channel to watch the news. Wei Ying suddenly thought of something. Tugging at Shen Mingxi's sleeve, she asked, Honey, have you noticed something strange recently? What? Lord Su seems to be very close to Sister Huomin. Isn't that normal? Huomin is Lord Su's goddess. Shen Mingxi thought it was normal. That's true, but they seem to be interacting with each other quite frequently recently. They've had dinner together a few times already, and Sister Huomin even posted about it on her WeChat moments. Yeah, this doesn't seem like Huomin's personality. But I heard that she and Lord Su have been different since they came back from Yunnan. Maybe it's because they survived a disaster that they cherish their current lives even more? Shen Mingxi analyzed. I hope so, but won't Sister Huomin's husband mind? They're together so often. Wei Ying could tell just by looking at Huomin's WeChat moments. Therefore, the person involved must have felt even worse, but since it was their family business, Wei Ying only told Shen Mingxi about it in private. First hospital after Qin Chu picked up the twins from school, he went directly to the hospital to visit his mother-in-law. Many of the medical staff in the first hospital used to be Huomin's colleagues or subordinates. Therefore, when they saw the 2 children, everyone was very enthusiastic. Some doctors on duty even bought snacks, milk, and toys for them. It was obvious that Huomin was very popular. Faced with everyone's enthusiasm, the twins were very polite. After getting their daddy's permission, they accepted the toys and thanked him politely. Thank you, Auntie. You're welcome. They're so cute. The 2 little guys are getting more and more beautiful. By the way, where's Vice Director Hua? How come I haven't seen her in the past few days? A doctor asked casually. After all, Huomin's mother and sister-in-law were both hospitalized here. Huomin hadn't shown up even once, so everyone found it strange. Oh, Mian hasn't been feeling well recently and is recuperating at home. Qin Chu found a random excuse. President Qin, if Vice Director Hua comes to the hospital, you must tell us. We haven't seen her in a long time. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.